This episode of Vibrant Living is brought to you by Link Transit. Take that first step. Learn how to ride. And AARP Washington, working with local and statewide organizations to protect Wenatchee area consumers from scams and fraud.
8:32 at your hometown station, Coho 101, the Coho Morning Show, moving along through Hour 3. This hour brought to you by Boswell's Home Furnishings, and with you on Thursday, the 15th of July. Very pleased to have Dave Tosch in studio with us today. Dave is the Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activities Center. We're going to talk about some difficult times for the center through COVID, and coming out of that, some times that are proving to be equally austere as far as figuring out when and how to reopen the facility. We'll also talk about things that are keeping them afloat, what you can do to help, and some other things that are happening as well, connection with the center. And Dave, always good, great to chat with you. How are you?
Well, we're doing okay. I'm not proud of the fact that we remain closed, but we think we're doing the right thing. And I stay in touch with our seniors primarily through our newsletter. We're still doing a monthly newsletter, and then of course I chat with a lot of them. They call, and we have one of our receptionists that is going through our membership roster, checking in on them, getting their thoughts and ideas, and just staying in touch.
So take us through the COVID saga as it's been at the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, Dave, from start to finish, or not finish certainly, but where you're at right now, at least, hoping to reach the finish line at some point in the future.
Well, we were one of the first organizations to close back in early March of, what year was that, 2020?
Yeah, just last year.
About a year and a half almost. Yeah. And at that point, of course, we didn't know much when we closed. And as time went on, we realized that there was a lot of significant issues with the COVID. And we're dealing with the population that's very vulnerable to this whole thing. And so we're trying to be very careful in our approach to all of this. We know that a lot of people have been vaccinated, but we also know that there's a lot of seniors that are refusing to be vaccinated. And it presents a big issue for us. We have a large facility. When we were open, and I expect to see this again, we had hundreds of people coming in and out of there. We have 50 activities in an average week. And so, yeah, it's one of those issues where multiple entryways, we don't check membership, we don't have a scanning device. And so we're concerned. We're concerned about opening a little bit too early, although we are making plans right now to reopen in the fall at some point. But it's going to be based on what's going on with the COVID.
Yeah. You've got a particular challenge, as you mentioned too, Dave, not just from the standpoint of organizationally as far as how you're established and the fact that you're such a communal setting for an age group primarily that is, again, a vulnerable population. They're an at-risk group. But also because of the fact that you're not receiving a lot of outside assistance like other senior centers are. We were talking about that before we jumped on air here, actually, too. I think it's important for people to know that.
Yeah, a lot of people don't understand how we're organized. Most of our members do, and we've got close to 2,000 members. But there's a lot of folks in the community. It's rather interesting, and I've been there 8 years now as the executive director, that many people in our community don't know what we are. They believe we're an assisted living facility or a nursing home. I get asked all the time from people that have lived here all their lives, how many beds do you manage?
Oh, wow.
How many residents do you have? And we don't. We're an activity center. And so we are also a nonprofit, completely independent of the city and local government. We are on our own, and we have to figure it out as to how we generate enough revenue to provide all the services and activities that we do and maintain our building and all the other things that go along with it. Our thrift store is really the key component to all of this because the thrift store generates the bulk of our resources.
And as you were telling me, it's carried you through the pandemic, essentially.
And it has, and because of the community support, and we really appreciate the donations that we've been receiving, we're setting new records in sales. And we're only open 5 days a week versus the 6 that we used to be. We're open from 9 to 4. We're accepting donations of clothing. We had to shut that down for a short period because a lot of people were cleaning out their closets and doing a lot of things during this time period, and donations were flowing in. So we had to stop there for a short time, but we're back up and running again. And again, we really appreciate the community support.
Yeah. Well, the over-generosity of a community is always one of the better problems to have in a position like yours, so it's
I'm not complaining.
I'm sure that's not the case. Dave Tosch with us today. He is Executive Director of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, talking to us about COVID predominantly, of course, because the center's had to shut down and has been shut down for quite a time. Dave just mentioning that they're hoping to get back open by fall. But Dave, getting back to that issue, it's a tricky process for you because you have a lot to mitigate, and you just can't, unfortunately, take the word of folks that they've been vaccinated because we're seeing that, I think, in all walks of life for all businesses right now.
Well, the seniors are frustrated. I'm frustrated. We see the signs in front of the businesses that basically we assume that you've been vaccinated if you're not wearing a mask. And we're not going to be able to do a lot of that. And so we don't get off the hook so easy. And I and the board of directors, this is not just me making these decisions, are all in agreement that we need to take the safe and careful route. We still are requiring masks or face shields in our thrift store, for example. Very few businesses are doing that right now. Why? Well, again, because of the population that we serve, we feel that that's a safe route to take, and we have not had any issues with COVID with regard to the staff that we have there and our seniors that frequent the thrift store.
Dear customer, this call is from Amazon customer support. This is to notify you regarding your today's purchase on Amazon.com. You have been charged $379.99 on your Visa card. If you have made this purchase on Amazon and recognize it, then simply hang up and your order will be delivered to you. However, if you have not made any such transaction, you can call Amazon support right away on 970-427-6905 or press 1 to connect to our agent.
Today I'm with Patty Getzin. Patty has been one of our primary sale instructors, and I say our because we claim her. But she's been doing or instructing sale classes for about 20 years here at the Senior Center and other places in the community. Mm-hmm. It's a program that I think is really important to the senior population as far as staying healthy and trying to stay mobile and you're getting your balance right, all those things. And I'm going to have her talk a little bit about that. I don't expect to do all the talking. But see Patty here once a week, and I think it's one of those programs where she's actually at times, I don't know if you ever had to tell somebody you didn't have room for them, but you've come close a few times.
Yeah, I couldn't do that. I couldn't turn anybody down, even though we kind of got pretty big.
Yeah.
But
well, the dance floor fills up when
does.
Patty's doing the sale classes, and they're usually, I think, what is it? I lost track. Wednesdays?
Tuesdays and Thursdays.
So the Tuesday, yeah, that's interesting.
1 o'clock, Tuesday and Thursday.
Tuesday at 1 o'clock, right after lunch, and then we have our regular dance, the live music at 2, and then bingo is after that. It's been a while since we've been open, so I've forgotten some things. But
understandably.
So talk a little more about sale and why you've dedicated so much time and effort to it. What do you get out of it?
I just love SAIL, and it stands for Stay Active and Independent for Life, and that's what I'm trying to do, and we're all trying to do. Keep moving, and if you don't exercise or walk or anything, then you end up losing your balance, and it's really a matter of balance, and so it's pretty important.
Yeah.
keep us upright.
And so a lot of it is chair bound, not all of it, but
just
they're sitting in chairs.
Yeah, at the end we sit down and do a few. I have some people that sit down the whole time, and so I try to include that at the end of the class. We do aerobics first for about 10 or 15 minutes, and then we end with to music, all the old 50s music, and that's really fun. And then we go into all these other things, and then all these motion things, you know, side to side and stretching and breathing, and it's good to keep breathing. Yep.
And you're able to conduct these classes with different levels of physical activity, I guess is what I would call that.
Yeah, you kind of gauge your class. There's some that can do more, and so we just tell them to go at their own speed. It's a lot safer that way, and they're trying to improving and then try to promote them. How about we go to a 3-pound weight in each hand instead of 2 pounds? Try to work them up. Because I'm trying to stay in a 5, and now I've dropped down to a 4. So you know, as we get older, but yeah, it's really fun, and it just keep them enthused and coming back and trying to make it fun.
Well, I've noticed a lot of people will finish their lunch and kind of hang around and watch what you do, and a number of those people have joined your group. So it's kind of convenient to have it at that time of the day.
It is. But I like to do it 3 times a week, though, if that ever works out.
Yeah.
Sometime.
Yeah.
Get into 3 times a week, but.
Well, exercise, I think, in our society is becoming more and more important. People realize how important it really is. We're living longer, but you know, being active and living longer, I think, is a better way to go, and that's what you're trying to do.
Absolutely, keeping quality of life.
Yeah, it is all about quality of life.
It is.
I do admire you for hanging in there. For 20 years is a long time, and you've conducted, as I said, classes in other facilities, venues, let's say.
Right.
And I know that every time I see you, you're wondering, when are we going to be able to get it going here again? So I know you're still out there wanting to get going again. You've been able to do some other things with the Senior Center, participating in some of our other programs. I know you love good music, and I've seen you at some of our dances, the big band.
Absolutely, yep.
So
really fun, yeah.
You know,
it's just a fun place to hang out, the Senior Center, yeah.
Have you ever enjoyed lunch with us?
A couple times, yeah.
Yeah. So you're able to take advantage of that.
It's kind of hard to teach exercise right after eating.
Yeah.
Whoa, just want to nap instead, but. Yeah, it's really good meals. I'm impressed how good the meals are. I worked in food service at the college. I ran the college food service, and then Lake Chelan's, I ran their lunch program, and so I appreciate a good lunch.
Yeah.
And how much work goes into it.
Yeah, and I would say, I don't know, maybe about half of the folks that are in your group on Tuesdays have taken advantage of the lunch before they come to the sale.
Absolutely, yeah. They're usually sitting at the table waiting for me.
Yeah. So I know that you've been helping us with the sale program for 20 years. Is that what first brought you to the Senior Center, or had you investigated the Senior Center before that?
Yeah, I used to come here all the time, yeah. Just loved the place, and I really wanted to teach here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what was it that caused you to come out here the first time? What was
to the Senior Center or to Wenatchee?
To the Senior Center.
The Senior Center. Well, I don't know. Came for dances and meals, and the nice buffets they have at the dances, and shopping at the thrift store.
Yeah. So the sale program contact you. You contacted them. How did you get involved with the sale?
They introduced it to 5 of us, and we had our first little get together at that new building where the ambulance is on the avenue.
At Ballard.
At Ballard, upstairs there, and that's where I met the other 4 or 5 people that were going to do it, and then we did it once, did it a couple times. This lady Lynn, she brought her mom, and her mom was showing us all the stuff, and it was really fun, and it was just right up my alley. I was activity director at the time at Blossom Valley, and I was already doing some things with my residents, so that I could just put put it in there with them. And then Blossom Valley is bringing in the public. So that was promoting their business.
Sure.
And we just moved all the dining room tables, and we'd have a big circle.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. And that's kind of how I got started in it. I loved it. The administrator said, "This is right up your alley, Patty. You should check it out," and I did. And
Well, we are closed right now, and I know that you're just as anxious as I am to get things rolling again. So you'll be back doing sale here at some point. If someone's interested in learning more about sale, or they want to join in at the Senior Center in your group, how would they go about reaching you?
well, they could call my home at 664-3007, and I will answer the phone, or they can leave a message, and then I will notify them when it opens, when we can get started.
Welcome to another edition of Vibrant Living. I'm Darrell Dickeson, board member of the Wenatchee Valley Senior Activity Center, and today we have the privilege of speaking via a Zoom contact with Mayra Colazo, who is the executive director of the Central Washington Disability Resources. So welcome, Mayra. Would you like to just tell us a little bit about what is Central Washington Disability Resources and what do you do?
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. So Central Washington Disability Resources has been open since 1981. We provide services for individuals with self-identified disabilities, all ages, all types of disabilities. We have our core services. So just depending what individuals kind of services need, we base it out of that. We do a lot of information and referrals. And we provide services in Kittitas County, Yakima, Chelan, Douglas, and Grant. And ultimately, our mission is to empower the inclusion and the wellness of all persons with disabilities through advocacy, community education, peer mentoring, skill development, so that they may be as independent and can be able to participate in all areas of life.
Great. So you covered a lot of material there. Let's break it down a little bit. I believe you said something initially about self-identified.
Yes.
What does that mean?
So all it means is we ask the individual, do you have a self-identified disability? And if they say yes, that's all we need. We don't ask for any sort of medical documentation or anything. As long as the individual says yes, then they're eligible for services.
Okay. And you said also that you cover 4 counties, and yet your office, as I understand, is in Ellensburg. So do you have people out in the field, or how do you cover all the 4 counties?
So we do 5 counties. Our main office is here in Kittitas County, and we have a independent living specialist and outreach coordinator that is in charge of going to other counties and providing direct services in those locations.
So how do people get in touch with you? What's the best way to contact you?
The best way is through our phone, which is 509-962-9620. You call in, and then we will put you on our waiting list, and then a independent living specialist will give you a call back.
Okay. And do you have, let's see, how does a person qualify? You said that all they have to do is self-identify. Is there a fee involved, or what kind of a process do people use to qualify and receive your services?
So all of our services are completely free. We don't ask for legal status or anything. Our only question is that they self-identify with a disability and that they live within our 5 county service areas.
Okay. Now, disabilities, that's a kind of a broad subject. Can you kind of define what some of the different kinds of disabilities are?
Yeah, so all we really ask is, do you have a mental, do you have a cognitive, is it physical? So whatever the individual discloses to us, that's what we write down. And if they want to share further information, such as, they have PTSD or depression, anxiety, whatever their disability is, we'll go with it.
Okay, and so again, going back to self-identifying, that I assume that means they don't have to get a doctor's referral or anything like that. They just say, I feel like I'm disabled in such and such a way, and then you guys get to work on providing the appropriate service if possible.
Definitely, yeah. So sometimes the way that I like to explain it is if you have a condition that creates barriers on your everyday living, that can be a disability. If you self-identify with it. A lot of what we do as well is we help individuals apply for SSI benefits, SSDI, and things like that. And so obviously before they're eligible, they have different barriers to independence, and that's what we're helping them advocate to be able to get these benefits.
Great. So again, I met you, I don't know, a couple months ago, I think, on a Zoom call that was, if I recall correctly, the Aging and Adult Care of Central Washington has what they call a senior network monthly call, and I believe I heard your presentation there for the first time. I was not aware of your services at all, so I'm delighted that you can get this word out to people. Disabilities, what I seem to recall is you had a slide in your presentation that said that most of your individuals served were like 29 to 59, I believe, but then the next group was 60 and older. So tell us a little bit more about, this program obviously is geared more toward an older viewing audience. Tell us a little bit more about what older people that might be interested or eligible for services that they didn't even know about.
Yeah, totally. So yeah, we do a report, end of the year report. And so we analyze the data based on all the individuals that we provided assistance to see what ages and different counties. So for individuals that are over 50, we provide a lot of advocacy. So sometimes they move into an apartment that it's not fully accessible. And so we're able to help them with that, as well as, learning how to do budgets. They get their income and then they're struggling with paying bills, finding additional resources to help them, learning to use transportation, going from point A to point B. And so with our services, it really varies what the individual needs to the services that we're able to provide.
Terrific information. And so tell us again, how can people get in touch with you?
They can give us a call at 509-962-9620.
All right. And do you have a website?
Yes, it's mycwdr.org. We also post a lot on our Facebook. So if anybody wants to go and follow us on our Facebook, we share our activities calendars and any updates right now. Everything's going through Facebook.
Great. So is your Facebook under Central Washington Disability Resources?
Yes.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much, Mayra, for your time and sharing this very valuable information to many citizens of all ages that might have any kind of disability that needs some help.
Yes, thank you. Thank you for inviting me. I really appreciate it.